Good morning, evening, afternoon. I'm tatocat and welcome to my channel. Today we're playing Echoes, a Lucid9 fan game. Previously, I made some dumb decisions with Irie by not saying, yes, just kill the people, basically. And said I wanted to talk to them, and apparently that's not the right way to go. Yeah. We learned a little bit about DCIS and whatnot, and, yeah, we kind of left off here. Let's continue. That's quite the understatement, operative. If you were that reckless, I doubt you'd even live long enough to attend this meeting. Were you to be mistaken as an illegal immigrant, any other DCIS agent would want you dead, and the chance of them being allowed to assail you increases with every time I'm forced to defend your actions. Appreciate you vouching for me. I've been assigned to keep you alive and out of the public eye. Your appreciation is irrelevant to me. Yet, for some reason, the situation appears to be changing once more. What? I didn't... No. I didn't mean to click down there. After rising to her feet, the agent pulls an envelope out of her jacket pocket and sets it on the table. In the interest of confidentiality, I am only willing to share the following information with you by means of spoken word. To perform optimally in our arrangement, you will need to be able to leave, enter, and travel through Isamu without drawing suspicion. Naturally, I lack the authority to grant such a privilege, but I know someone who can, and it just so happens that they'd like to speak with you in person. Return to a secure area and examine the contents of this message. Once you do so, you will know where to find me. I hope to see you again immediately, operative. I know they have already seen you. Oh, is this Rui's dad? You promised me that you wouldn't bring my daughter into this, Chairman. I assume this is the chairman. I promised that she would not be harmed, Akane. There is a difference between the two. Oh, this is me. This is where being bad with memorizing names comes into play. Is Akane Rui's parents? Is this not Way Forward's chairman? I know, until I get names, I'm just going to use my normal voice instead of destroying my vocal cords. You and your husband may have signed over the rights to your lives when you agreed to work for the division, but she did not. However, you must understand that it was her actions that led to your family becoming a security risk. Okay, so this is who I thought it was. While Rui may not have understood the gravity of the situation, she knowingly involved herself in unsanctioned investigation. You know why she stayed. If it wasn't for him, she wouldn't have become a target in the first place. Limny Skate's ultimate ultimatum never implied Ishimoto was safe either. I tried reasoning with them, Akane, but what they want doesn't doesn't make any sense. They had something to gain from the murders. I don't know what it was, but their demands were clear. I tried to hold them back. I tried to convince them that this wouldn't solve anything, that there were other ways around this, but they made up their mind. You know what must be done. So that's it. After everything we've done for this corporation, you're still willing to have us killed to make nice with some Limni executive. What do you want me to do, Akane? Try to stop them? They already control the police. They have a monopoly on the media, and their CEO has been mayor for a decade. If we went against their wishes, nothing would stop them from killing 10 or 20 more of our people out of spite. We're lucky they warned us. Because of that, Rui has a chance to survive. Your daughter will have a solid future ahead of her. She'll still receive the 200 million in benefit once you two are gone. But that's not going to happen if Limni Skate takes matters into their own hands. You and your husband knew death was a risk when you signed the contract. I figured that when the time came, you'd be smart enough to accept the least bloody method. Does it really have to be her? Those were the terms, Akane. Junji isn't going to like this, but I suppose we can't break the news to her together. We can break the news to her together. How much time do we have left? 30 days. Both the neural implants. We can have her trained in less than 3. You have more than enough time to say goodbye. And if it's any consolation, the augmentations will make it easier on her. I'm sorry, Akane. I can't go against them. No one can. I hope your family finds peace. If that's really what you want, Chairman, make sure she survives. District 5 Control. This is the corporate shuttle LCAV Gamma 217 requesting clearance to Dock Pylon 04. D5 Control. Alright, I'll do it. Request received, Gamma 217. Preliminary scans of your vessel have detected 2 way forward transponder signatures. On board, please submit a valid ID string before proceeding to prove that you are not in danger. Enter identification string Alpha Upsilon Gamma 2 Delta 7 Omicron 1 3 8 Theta Sigma 2 4 upsilon, alpha, lambda, omega, and bearing all superseding moratoria, authorize all unboard signatures for free passage in and out of the CAZ under auth code Alpha Upsilon Gamma 1 7 Sigma Iota Zeta 2 6 Kappa 4 5 4 Lambda Theta 0 and voice imprint. Sorry, I hit my thing. Voice imprint recognized. Authorization codes verified. Oh no, I hit my thing! Sorry about that. Docking clearance granted at Pylon 04, Level 27, Bay 2. Welcome back, Agent. As the quiet rumble of the shuttle pulse engines begins to subside, I rise from my seat, grab hold of the stabilization handle above, and lean towards the aircraft's center aisle. Hoping to catch a glimpse from the other side of the cockpit window, I squint through the glare of the mid-morning sun, reflected on the graphene siding of a sleek monolithic skyscraper, pluralized skyscrapers, and the holographic billboards that adorned them. In less than a minute, an armored bay door several hundred meters above ground opens, guiding the craft's pilot into a nearby building with two scrolling columns of blue and violet lights. While public air travel in and out of the former Japanese islands has been unheard of since the 2030s, thanks to fear, economic instability, and other fun stuff like Isamu imposed blockades and strict travel regulations, taking shuttles like this remains viable for official corporate and military business or anyone sufficiently well off to bribe their way to one. Limnescate's air travel infrastructure in their home district is especially impressive, but I suppose that's par for the course for the corporation with the most advanced and widespread flight tech in the world. The first thing I do upon reaching solid ground is look up, driven equal parts by habit and curiosity. Partially blocked out by the structures towering around me, the light combines with dust suspended in the air to form a thick translucent haze. The ever encroaching pall hovers over the rooftops of District 5, almost antithetical to the glistening walls of steel and glass below it. When combined with brutalist architecture of every edifice in sight, and the evenly formed rows and columns of up-armored security drones patrolling above and between every street and building, it's easy to see why Limniscate's corporation autonomous zone has been compared to submerged reef a submerged reef by many. Well, you're quite welcome to sightsee after Lucid9 has finished speaking to the warden. I would advise against idle spectation until our business here is completed. And of course, the comparison would be far from complete without a predator nearby. Others require the use of these walkways. Stand here for any longer, and you'll become a detriment to civil productivity. Oh, Hisao is here too? Okay, cool. Didn't know he came along with us. But I guess he is part of the team? You seem quite adamant. I'm not doing a deep enough voice for him. You seem quite adamant on that we be on our way, agents. Do you object to my interest in efficiency, operative? Not at all, agent. Hisao turns towards Agent Hiraga and flashes a flirtatious grin in her direction. Once again, this absolute head case of an operative seems to be intent on laying down those smooth 24 grit moves of his, and the target of those moves just so happens to be an already annoyed DCIS agent. I like women who can take charge and keep the ball rolling. In fact, your dedication to the concept is quite admirable, if I do say so myself. Poor guy must be down bad. Thank you, operative. Under any other circumstances, I'd condemn you for your vapid lip service by rotating you 90 degrees and awarding you with the mandatory privilege of becoming District 5's newest speed bump. Unfortunately for everyone here, I'm under orders to keep you alive for the foreseeable future. So, please do me a favor and cease your inane attempt at flattery before a vehicle comes along and attempts to flatten you. Good for you, Irie. Well then, that was less of a success than I was expecting. Really? What were you expecting to happen? I mean, DCIS agents are supposed to be like cold and calculated and evil. Your approach needs work. If you keep this up, the only date you ever land will be in court. No plan works out 100% of the time. Don't let that get you down, though. No, she's into you. She's just acting like she hates your guts to see if you have the courage to keep hitting on her. This would get him killed. Yeah, his approach needs work. And he does fail a lot. Yeah. Bro, seriously. Your approach needs work. If you keep this up, the only date you'll ever land will be in court. No, his attitude can't drop towards me. Never. I need his to like me. I'm okay with Irie not liking me. I don't particularly like Irie. But, no, Hisao must love me as much as he can. Even if that love is a brotherly love for a sister. No plan works out 100% of the time. Don't let that get to you down, though. Appearance-wise, you're already solid 9.5 out of 10. If you refine your technique a little, you're bound to find someone eventually. Not me, though. I point to Irie. You're better off with literally anyone else except for maybe the redhead over there. Hisao beams. Okay. Yay! Hisao likes me more. You're far too kind, my dear doctor. I'm using Misaki's voice. Oh my, Hisao, I'm so sorry. I'll never get your voice right. And, if I might add, you're not looking too shabby either. If I'm being perfectly honest, I'm quite particular to any woman with a quick enough wit to give me the business before she slaps me in the face. Kinky. And between you and I, red hair and vitriolic personality the good agent possesses is just seasoning on the steak for me. If red hair and constant verbal abuse is your type, you could always make a powder thread praising the consistency and flavor of those red heated hockey pucks they serve at McDonald's. Burger Queen once patted about the quarter-kilo Whopper Deluxe being 50% off, and within 5 minutes, Mora from Mora's told them it matched the capacity of their customers' arteries. She is a fictional character, though. That might make things difficult. Hisao laughs. Clearly, you underestimate the power of crippling loneliness in unemployed artists. Oh, a thingy's happening. Agent Hiraga stops in her tracks as Isamu's civil, alert tone booms down through a haze above. By this time, virtually all the suit-clad scientists, engineers, and miscellaneous professionals, evenly distributed on the sidewalk, are staring at the holographic billboards above them, mounted high on the broad faces of almost every visible building. Billboards that now project the waving image of red and black flag. State PA system. Attention all citizens. The live broadcast of Mayor Masaru Inoi's monthly address to the people will commence in 60 seconds. The Ministry of Social Order wishes to remind all Class 4 citizens and below that this is a Priority 1 broadcast. Any failure to observe this transmission is a felony punishable by death. The message appears itself as clamoring. Throngs of people burst through the doorways of the ground level buildings, funneling out onto the streets with the energy of a kindergarten class on a field trip. One by one, the cars on the road stop in transit, making way for their drivers to swing open their doors, and rush to the sidewalk, and those on the elevated floors of the high-rise buildings gather behind iridescent windows, pushing against one another as they struggle to find better view. There's a part of me that doesn't want to judge these people. After all, I've been away from the rest of Isamu for a long time. I can't pretend to know what any of them are thinking, but watching them, I can't help but think of a swarm of moths approaching an open flame. And not just approaching it, but doing so eagerly. The rest of Isamu may not be like this, but this is District 5. This is the heart of Lemniscate's dominion, where their nigh omnipresent visors is most acute, and where their clandestine armies are closest by, ready to descend on anyone or anything unfortunate enough to inconvenience them. Even though all they attained was a result of convenience, the leadership of the megacorp granted the most authority by Isamu meritocracy would no doubt think of themselves as indivisible from the government's power they enforce. Some of them may even believe that every action they take is for good of Isamu. It would certainly be easy for them to convince the others of it. But dissent is impossible here, and Lemniscate's words are taken at face value, never questioned, even when they make no sense. It's easy to believe that dogma of whoever's in power when information is filtered in their favor and tailored to never contradict itself. Cognitive dissonance becomes not only unnecessary, but impossible. If anything ever fails to be true and good, then the threat of force can be really relied upon to resolve the situation. When a gun is pointed at you, or at your head, any statement will carry weight, regardless of faith or veracity, if you will. Out of fear, people will often pretend to believe when surrounded by those who supposedly do. And from what I've heard, Lemniscate knows this better than anyone. And Isamu, their national news network, delivers this dogma to those easily swayed by sensationalist bias. And the mere existence of DCIS is enough to sow the seeds of fear in many. They'd be foolish to not capitalize on either. It's been 3 years. Perhaps they no longer need to, which begs the question. If the average person were forced to fearfully play along with the narrative, how long would it take for them to grow tired of being afraid and simply believe out of convenience? How long would it take for them to grow thankful to their overlords for ceasing their infliction of perpetual suffering? When would they express gratitude? When would they find love for the cage that was built around them while they slept. And most importantly, when would they start to hate the enemies of those who had locked them inside? As if to answer my question, Isamu national anthem blares down from the rooftop. Once audible, I watch as the foreboding melody triggers the applause of hundreds, perhaps even thousands of people. Two steel braziers in the shape of a sakura blossom fade into the screen, shimmering a brilliant blue. The camera zooms in an empty podium as the ceremony flames behind him begin to rise and redden. Then, an eruption of pure scarlet. The conflagration climbs to a blinding zenith. Is this the mayor speaking? Well, we'll see who question mark is in the next episode. It's probably the mayor. But we'll see.